Thanks all. We're joined by 2025 Division II national champions, the Adelphi Panthers, back-to-back national champions, and now the 9th title in program history. Up here with us, we have head coach Gordon Purdie, back-to-back national champion with Adelphi, as well as student athletes Nick O'Shea, Kyle Lewis, and Vincent McDermott. We will open the floor for Coach to have his opening statement, and then have questions for the student athletes, and then follow up with questions with Coach. So Coach, your opening statement.
Sure. Firstly, it's great to be here. Incredible win. Really proud of Adelphi University. But in that same breath, I really want to have a shout out for an amazing team, Tampa, that pushed us to the limits. That game could have gone either way. And it's teams like that that just makes practices and this game more fun in that we had to go out, compete every day to be the best we could be. And on any given day, either team could have won, but today it was Adelphi University.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for our student athletes? As a reminder, say your name and your affiliation before your question.
Hi, Tom Rock from Newsday. Kyle, can you just go through the game-winning goal?
Well, Coach Cat actually just drew up that play. We had a look behind, some cutters, and he said if it doesn't work, it's going to come up to you, you're going to sweep the top, and you're going to put it in the net. And, yeah, the defender on me is a great defender. You know, hit him with a move and then sweep across, and it happened to work out in our favor.
When did you have a sense that you were going to get free enough to hold that and go in that one?
When I made my initial move, I kind of saw him jolt to the left. So then from there, it was just like eyes in the net. I knew I was going to be able to get my hands free. And then, yeah, I knew the goalie usually drops when I drop my hands, so I went low to high. But I'm not put in that position if, you know, we've worked so hard as a team to get to that moment. And all I did was put the ball in the net, but that doesn't show what everyone in this program has been doing for the past 6 months.
A lot of, when was the last time you had an overtime goal?
The last time I had an overtime goal, never, ever, ever. Yeah, never. Damn, I didn't even know that. That's crazy now I'm thinking about it. Wow.
Zach Doble, Adelphi. Vincent, you tied your career high in goals today with 4. You also had a 4-goal game earlier this tournament against Georgian Court. But, of course, this is the biggest stage. So what about today made you elevate your game?
I think we just had good matchups all over the field. And we knew they would slide early, so off-ball movement was kind of key. And we were moving so well off-ball that when I was dodging, they couldn't slide. So it just made it easy for me.
Matt Kinnear, Inside Lacrosse. Kyle, you described how the goal happened, but, I mean, how does it feel you scored an overtime game-winning goal in the national championship? Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy at the moment. Like, that's stuff you dream of, you know, like going into OT, you know, one shot, and you hit it or you don't, and, you know, it happened. But like I said, all I have to do is put the ball in the net, and this team, this program, these coaches, all the staff has been working so hard for that one moment. So I'm thankful just to be in that position and to get that shot.
Kyle Devitt, USA Lacrosse. Similarly, there was a lot of shorter-on-shorter violence out there on both sides. Vincent, you were kind of the beneficiary of a lot of that, hitting that low wing, hitting on the elbow. You spoke about your team kind of moving and opening up that lane for you. Playing against both teams playing against these great goalies, you know you have to have a good lane to pull that shot. You had one of the better shots of the game, falling down, hitting the corner. What was going through your mind when that happened?
I don't even know. Like, I was kind of just like, get to the goal, and I got my hands free for a little bit, and I just shot it. I didn't even know where it was going, and it just went in. So it just worked out.
All right. I just wanted to ask Nick, your thoughts when they sort of almost scored there at the end? You know,
yeah,
10 seconds left.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy feeling. We didn't really know what happened, but we heard that the Tampa coach called a timeout. The kid swept across the middle, and we had a slide, but it was pretty late. But then when the ball went in, and we realized that the ref was going like this, so we knew it was no goal. And we had to hunker down for the last 10 seconds to just play team defense. And we have the best goalie in the nation behind us. So just 6 guys really working together. The best goalie out there. It's a great time.
second round. Yeah.
Hey guys, Kenny Dijon from USA Lacrosse. Nick, you mentioned Dylan, and maybe there was a brief period in the offseason where he considered a different opportunity, ultimately comes back. What does that decision do for just the vibes of the team, and then how does he just make everything go during the course of a season?
Yeah, honestly, that didn't mix up our chemistry at all. We knew Dylan wanted to explore his options just to see where other schools were at with him, and he ultimately decided to come back, which we were so grateful for that to happen, especially for his last year. It was great feeling that he was coming back with us.
Go, Joel.
Kyle, you talked about scoring an overtime goal and what it feels like. What's it feel like at the bottom of the pile? What runs through your mind for 10 seconds?
That was bad. Like, it was like everything, like, obviously you score the goal and your like mind's going everywhere, but then at the bottom of the pile, I was like, screaming like, get up. Like, I was like suffocating out of it. Like, I panic in those positions, so I was kind of just like, get up, but then also we just won, so I'm like pumped up. It was weird, but you know, glad we got it done.
It's time for one more question for our student athletes.
Well, the obvious is stated. You guys are back-to-back champions. First time this century that this program has felt that feeling. So from a player's perspective, any of you, how does that feel to make that tone?
Well, I mean, in terms of going back-to-back, we didn't really, that wasn't on our mind. Like, last year was over. We had a new goal, and we worked for that goal, every single player, for 6 months. So we try not to look back. It does feel good to do it 2 times, knowing that it's been done before, but a long time. But yeah, we were worried about this game and this game only, nothing in the past, so it feels good to get it done.
Good if you want. Repeat season. You got another one? Yeah, no. Okay. All right, guys, we'll have Coach stick around, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think so, yeah. You're national champs. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you, guys.
All right, open floor, Coach.
Coach, I'm sure you've had a million and a mile thoughts in the last half an hour, but above all of them, what sticks out the most?
My thoughts are, I'm just so happy for every one of my seniors who, have vested so much time, effort into this game, to win this game, and to do it for us. And so, while it's so exciting to win, it's that end of the road, the last game for those seniors who are going to move on in their life. I saw so many of our fans, and so much joy from all the alumni that were cheering us on all game. And so while, the 49 guys that were on the field won it, and the administration that were all over, my true joy is to look around and see so many people happy for all of us.
Gordon, if you could, Kyle gave his description, kind of the last play. If you can give yours from the sideline of that last play.
Yeah, of that play. So Kyle and I love to do film together. And, Coach Cat drew that play up, had the board, put it through, 2 men behind on shorties, get it to Kyle. And what I saw is exactly how Kyle saw it. He drove and made a little stutter move, and as he put that move on, he got a step. And you give Kyle a step, he's going to take advantage of that. And he got his hands free and was able to shoot that shot. And I was pretty sure as soon as I saw the step that the defender had, the misstep, if you want to call it that, my heart just pumped an extra beat, because I just said, this is it. He's going to take this shot. And for us, we've been all over Kyle to take that shot, and he's just given it up in shots that other players would take. And he's been so selfless that we've had to yell at him and bring him in and show him film and say, you're not taking shots you need to take. And, you know, I was hoping he was going to take it, and he did, and it's an incredible goal for him.
Jordan Johnson, Next Level Sports. Coach, obviously your goalie, Dylan, when he's not making saves, he's just one of the most energetic personalities on the field, the way he leads his defense. Can you just talk about what it's like to have a guy like that as a coach?
Yeah, so you just mentioned on the field, and it's on and off the field. That guy goes 24/7. He is such an energetic person, sees the best in everybody. You know, to have him, and I said it earlier, to think that we were going to lose him with the you know, sleepless nights, coaches wouldn't talk to each other, we got angry at each other. It was, you know, during the time that he went into the portal, it was like you wanted to call 24/7 and find out what was going down and if we were going to lose him. So the day that he said, that's it, I'm coming back, was the day that you breathe out and you say, okay, we can do this again, you know. And that goal, as these guys alluded to, of being able to, you know, come back and try to forget about last year, move on. Dylan helped us do that. You know, Dylan put this game in perspective. Our goal was to get back to a national championship and put ourselves in a place we could win. And Dylan did that every day. I really had very little in Dylan's time of talking to him ever on the field. I made the mistake of one time asking him if he's ready. That was last year, maybe the year before, and he lost it on me. What do you mean? He took it as, oh, I didn't think he was ready. Because Dylan, if you know him, and you can sort of feel it, you do when you watch him, he is that way. He's ready all the time, 24/7, and this program's going to, you know, greatly miss that kid, not just for the saves he makes, but for who he was.
Gordon, you guys are obviously the defending national champion, but they came in as the number one team in the country and the undefeated number one team in the country. Was there any kind of underdog vibe that your guys latched onto, looking for a chip that you can put on your shoulder coming into a game?
Yeah, I think Coach Cat, and you know, he could be one of the, I think, quote, the most hated guys in lacrosse and misunderstood guys. You know, I sent him a few things prior to today that just listed everybody choosing Tampa to win this game, and the coaches in the group, in the coaches, you know, polls, you know, a couple of weeks in, chose Tampa over us while we still were undefeated last year. And so, you know, someone brought it to my attention, how comes Tampa's, you know, ranked number one and we're two, even though we're still undefeated from last year? And, you know, listen, Tampa's an awesome team, and I think the answer is, as you look at that game, either team could have won that. But for us, we did use that. That was definitely used in pregame. Nobody thought we could win, literally. You know, 20 coaches voted Tampa to be the number one team this year, and nobody gave Adelphi a chance. And if you look back in history, Adelphi's always been an underdog. When I was there, you know, no one thought we could beat Syracuse, and we beat them 19-9. You know, so, you know, that underdog is something that we thrive and love. We love being the underdog. And next year, if they want to give it to another team, we're absolutely okay with that.
Congratulations, Coach. Malcolm Johnson, NBC Boston. Can you talk to me about your emotions towards the end of regulation when Tampa, you know, calls the timeout and it looks like the goal counts? Just how are you feeling in those last moments?
Yeah, so as that happened, I saw Dylan Renner come out of the cage, and I watched and I said, we're in some trouble. No one's backing up the cage. There was there was not very much time on the clock. We chose to go, in theory, into a zone. You know, all I could do was think, please, let's just make this save. And then I heard the timeout. And when I heard the timeout, I saw the goal go in after that. And at that point, I saw the official wave off the goal. And then I saw, you know, a little huddle, which you hate to see with referees. And at that point, I almost, you know, walked out on the field as their coaching staff did to make sure. I heard a whistle, everybody stopped, that goals shouldn't have counted, and at that point, when I saw that we now had a chance to make that, 12-second last-ditch effort to try to stop the next goal, if you want to call it that, not a worry, but just a happiness that we had another chance to win the game. And as a follow-up, we didn't have Hendy to face off, and he did a remarkable job in the second half for us, number 77. He came in and really made a change, and because of a violation, we had to go back to Will Greaves. And the question was, what are we going to do? We're going to go with Reese as a pole. We wanted possession, but as we went back to Will, he was able to put enough pressure, and I think it was Durnan, that threw 27, that threw the check to get the ball out of bounds, to give us a chance to get it in the box, call timeout, and to run that, that play that I'll never forget.
Coach, you now join the likes of Paul Doherty and Sandy Capitos as multi-time national champions with this Adelphi men's lacrosse program. I know you hold those two names dear to your heart, so walk me through what that means to you.
Yeah, so for Paul Doherty, who was my coach back at Adelphi, he basically gave me the chance to come to Adelphi from Australia, who's passed away. His daughters are here. I've forever got a warmness in my heart for him, and I could never be the coach that he was to me. I'll put that out there. So just to go out there and try and be who he was to me is the joy I have in coaching. It really is. As for Sandy, he called me 3 times this week. We couldn't seem to connect, and I finally got a hold of him and spent a good hour on the phone with him, and he told me just, how much he looks back and the experiences that he had. While we didn't talk about championships or wins, it was just the quality of people he got to coach at Adelphi and the support that he got from the administration. And I, shared with him how much, nothing's changed. To be in this position is one of the best coaching gigs in the world. And, I'm very proud to be able to call myself a head coach at Adelphi University.
Any more questions? All good? Yeah, good.
Last year, you shaved your head, right? Are you doing anything?
They got me. So, last year, it was, for those who didn't know, I walked out of this interview, and the players took my long ponytail off. And I just said, hey, let me get a closing statement. This year, what we tried to do was completely, and Kyle alluded to it, completely leave last year out. And so history, last year it happened. We really wanted to make this year separate. We wanted to make this year an opportunity for everybody that was working hard to win. There was no promises made about shaving the head or anything like that. The big thing and joy that was thrown out there is we're going back to the White House. And so, that was an exciting time for the whole team last year, and I think, that celebration is going to be in light of cutting my ponytail off. I don't have much hair as it is, but, that said, I may end up getting my head shaved tonight, who knows? Yeah.
All right. All questions are good. Any final words, Coach?
Just in finishing up, you sort of set goals and you want to achieve those goals, and I spoke of being so happy for the players, but, as I was ready to leave, the president of Adelphi came over and said, go get him, Coach, you've got this, and gave us so much confidence. I happened to see a little post getting ready of the Northeast 10, putting out 10 championships for our conference. It's so exciting for just I feel like, just another coach to be part of a great organization. In that, this is just a fantastic gig I do have. We happen to win today, and I know the Tampa players are, that would be a tough one to swallow for them till they get back on the field. But for me, I said it to my wife, just so happy to be an Adelphi, participant and just a member of the Adelphi lacrosse team. Whatever title they want to give me, just to be a part of this program is just truly amazing. And I'm just, every day, having had pneumonia during the year, I alluded to that to somebody here, that was a tough time, 2 weeks away from my players, and life was boring. It really was. It was like, what is, this is what I live for. It really is, the opportunity to coach these guys and mentor them. So I'm thrilled to be a part of another winning team, a winning program. I'm sure that these guys are already talking about three-peating, whatever that means. We bring all of our offense back. Every one of those guys you saw on the field today has eligibility to come back. So we're real excited about where Adelphi lacrosse is moving forward. We've got some great recruits coming in, and, as you guys all know, Northeast 10 is the powerhouse, so we have to be ready to lock and reload.
Well said, Coach. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Dylan Renner was getting drug tested, but I know some of you asked to meet with him, and I'm sure he'll be out. Sorry, Emily, just in case you want to announce that.